Well, hello once again, VAPsketeers. VAP-Chan here with yet another fantastic episode of VAP's Puppets and Friends.
And I'm Nobuko Asami. Can you believe those dickheads at Toei still haven't realized I'm on here? So, Vappy, did anything interesting happen last week? You know, that you think the VAPsketeers might want to hear about?
Well, on Sunday, February 16th, there was a storm early in the morning that knocked out the power on my street. Well, my street back in the human world, not the one in Videoland, for about 6 hours. I ended up going on a several-hour walk that day, and I decided to visit my sister and my mom.
You'll all remember Vap's sister as Kat, the one who asked Maureen to draw a Resident Evil picture a few episodes back.
Yep, well, on the way to her house, I noticed one of her neighbors had left an exercise bike out on the side of the road, you know, for the garbage man to pick up. VAP, they prefer to be called waste management professionals or some shit like that now. Well, I decided to take the soon-to-be-thrown-out exercise bike for myself, and I picked it up and carried it to my sister's and mom's house. What I didn't know was, my dad was also there.
Oh shit.
Oh shit is right. The second my dad sees the exercise bike, he starts flipping out. He thought the neighbors were going to claim that I stole the bike and that they were going to call the cops on us. VAPsketeers, because my dad has a history of getting arrested for being a violent alcoholic, he lives in fear of having the cops called on him. Well, he starts yelling at me, "What house did you find that bike at? You've gotta tell me so we can take it back." I didn't say anything. I just left and started walking back to my own house, leaving him with the exercise bike and with his fear of having the cops called on him. It was honestly really funny, and according to a text I got from my sister later that day, he was still deathly afraid long after I got back to my own house. And you know, this might make me sound like an asshole, but after all the times that I, as a little kid and a teenager, had to live in fear of my dad abusing me and abusing my mom and sister, I kind of enjoyed being able to make him afraid.
Wow, you're right, Vap. That does make you sound like an asshole. But anyway, are there any holidays coming up this week?
Well, February 26th is National Pistachio Day. Pistachios aren't my favorite nut, but they are pretty good. And the 27th is National Pokemon Day. I remember when Pokemon first came out in America in 1999. I was 4 years old. I watched the anime in syndication. I owned a little battery-operated toy of Psyduck that'd do the twist when you made a loud noise around it. And I remember all the adults and critics thought Pokemon was just going to be another stupid fad that'd be gone in a year. Well, Pokemon is still around and the kids still seem to like it, so congratulations, Pokemon.
And choke on it, critics.
Yes, thank you, Nobuko. Anyway, Friday the 28th is Rare Disease Day, and it's also the last day of February. So, this is the last episode of the month. But Saturday, March 1st, is also National Wedding Planning Day. Gosh, I can't wait to get officially married to my girlfriend Carmen Ryder. You know, once she escapes from that orange-eyed woman who's been holding her hostage, I mean.
Don't forget to read Virgo, Can I Really Be a Hero, VAPsketeers? It's the exciting, true story of Carmen Ryder and all her friends. Anyway, Vappy, are the puppets gonna do anything today?
Of course. First, Simple Simon the Clown will mime to Fido is a Hot Dog Now, as recorded by Billy Murray. And then Miranda Myxomatosis the Rabbit will mime to Me, as recorded by Ruth Edding.
Hit it, puppets!
I had a dog named Fido that I liked very much. I used to spend all my dough for puppy cakes and such. Our family learned to love him, to our hearts he was endeared. But now they've gone in mourning, cause poor Fido's disappeared. But I won't look all over the way they did poor Rover, cause I know just where little Fido's gone, poor dog. He's in a place below where all the naughty doggies go. Down, 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 where there isn't any snow, though his hair was short and his tail was long. I miss that little poodle somehow. But he won't get cold feet at that. There's too much mustard where he's at. Fido is a hot dog now. We never had a burglar, they wouldn't take a chance, cause they knew little Fido would hang on to their pants. I used to love bologna, 'twas the only meat I'd get, but now I cannot eat it, it reminds me of my pet. But I won't look all over the way they did for Lola, 'cause I know just where little Fido's gone, poor Fido. He's in a place below where all the naughty doggies go. Down, 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 where there isn't any snow, though his hair was short and his tail was long. I miss that little Frankie somehow. But he won't get cold feet at that. There's too much mustard where he's at. Fido is a hot dog now. Though his hair was short and his tail was long, I miss that little poodle somehow. He's buried too deep to dig out underneath the sauerkraut. Fido is a heiser hunt now.
He gave his attention, not to him, not to her, not to them, not to those, but to me. His family, they held a convention, not for him, not for her, not for them, not for those, but for me. I'm delighted, yes, sir, and I have to laugh. Standing on my dresser is a photograph which proves that he gives all his attention, not to him, not to her, not to them, not to those, but to me. We took a walk, we had a talk, and let me tell you very confidentially, that little walk and little talk has made me just as glad as I can be. I simply wanted to know who he was loving, and so we took a walk and had a talk, and I discovered pretty soon that it was me. He gave his attention, not to him, not to her, not to them, not to those, but to me. His family, they held a convention, not for him, not for her, not for them, not for those, but for me. I'm delighted, yes, sir, and I have to laugh. Standing on my dresser is a photograph which proves that he gives all his attention, not to him, her, them, those, but to me.
Well, howdy do, Vappy.
Oh, hey, Maureen, what's up?
Your Fang and I went on an adventure in the woods outside the haunted castle, and I thought you and all the VAP-Sketeers might want to hear about it.
Well, you thought right, Maureen. Let's hear it.
Oh, thanks, Vappy. And I even drew some pictures. Here we are setting off into the woods. VAP-Sketeers, here's a little bit of inside scoop about our show. A lot of the little cartoon characters that do stuff with the puppets are actually monsters who live in the haunted castle or in the woods next to it. We're able to shrink them down to puppet size with a magic potion, of course. Well, anyway, Der Fang and I were out searching for a new monster for Vappy to use in the show. We hadn't been in the woods very long when a big dangly-nosed dinosaur-looking monster jumped out of the bushes. Immediately, Der Fang leapt into action and turned into his bat form. Der Fang flew around, dodging the blast from the monster's snout and keeping it distracted.
Maureen, is the monster spraying boogers at him?
Vappy, that's so gross. But yes, those are boogers.
Neat. I haven't seen so many delicious nasal drippings since I was a child.
Ew. Anyway, while the monster was distracted by der Fang, I flipped out the mirror on my 10-in-1 optical device and reflected the sunlight onto the monster's eyes, temporarily blinding it, long enough that we...
Hey, if der Fang's a vampire, how's he able to be out in the sunlight?
He's a robot vampire, so sunlight can't kill him, and anyway, it wasn't that bright out that day. But, the monster was blinded just long enough that we were able to restrain him and bring him back here to do funny things with the puppets.
Well, that's a very interesting story, Maureen. Does the monster you caught have any particular puppets he'd like to perform with?
I think he'd like to do something with Erasmus the Ogre, especially since Erasmus hasn't gotten to be on the show very often.
Good idea. Let's have Erasmus the Ogre mime to You're in My Power is recorded by Todd Rollins, and your monster can show up partway through and do something funny.
Sounds good, Vappy. Take it away, puppets!
I don't want your money, I want you, honey. I'll never set you free. With your lips so close to mine, must have begged you for a kiss. There now ways that divine. Why must I struggle for this? You're in my power. Ha, 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 ha. I'm a bold bad villain when you're unwilling to give your love to me.
Aha! A rival for my love! Well, it looks like I'm on shilling duty this week, viewers. Don't forget to click the like button and to post a comment down below mentioning specific things you liked about the video. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. Got it? Good. And now, Rags the Bear will mime to I've Got a Lovely Bunch of Coconuts as recorded by Mel Blanc. You know, the guy who played Bugs Bunny in Heathcliff. Go for it, Rags.
Fair. One evening I was there when I heard a showman shouting underneath the flare, I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. There they are standing in a row. Big ones, small ones, some as big as your head. Give 'em a twist, a flick of the wrist, that's what the showman said. Oh, I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. Every ball you throw will make you rich. There stands me wife, the idol of me life, singing rowl a bowl, a penny a pitch. Singing roll-a-bowl-a-ball, a penny a pitch. Singing roll-a-bowl-a-ball, a penny a pitch. Roll-a-bowl-a-ball, roll-a-bowl-a-ball, singing roll-a-bowl-a-ball, a penny a pitch. Now, here we have it. He who hesitates must have an hole in his head, so hurry. Here you are, sir. Take a coconut and roll it double. No, sir, let go of me head. That ain't no coconut. Everybody sing.
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
Oh, rather.
There they are, standing in a row.
Pretty what?
Big ones, small ones, some as big as your head. Give 'em a twist, a flick of the wrist, that's what the showman said. I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
They goggle when you roll 'em.
Every ball you throw will make you rich. There stands me wife, the idol of me life, singing roll a ball, a penny a pitch.
Singing roll-a-bowl-a-ball, a penny a pitch.
A penny a pitch.
Singing roll-a-bowl-a-ball, a penny a pitch.
A penny a pitch.
Roll-a-bowl-a-ball, roll-a-bowl-a-ball, singing roll-a-bowl-a-ball, a penny a pitch.
Hey, Vappy, do you think we have time to read another story from Giggle Comics Number 32 from August 1946?
Sure. For those of you keeping track at home, we'll be about halfway through the comic after we finish this next story.
Neat. Well, let's get into it.
Potsy by Don R.
Quiet, for gosh sakes, is this place ever noisy? Can't we have a little quiet for a change? Gosh, you can hardly hear yourself think. Who's making so much racket? Who?
Who?
Yeah, who? Well, what do you know? It's me.
Yes, it's you. And you've made your last noise around here.
But boss, don't be impulsive.
You're through, 'cause right now I'm tossing you out on your ear.
Oh no, boss, you can't do that. You just can't.
Bop.
You can't, boss. Oof. Oh. See, he couldn't. Not on my, ear.
Later.
Well, I guess it's about time. Yeah, for a little action on my part. You-hoo. Boss, old man, old friend, old pal. I forgive you. I'm willing to come inside now. Huh, boss? Huh, please? Huh, he won't even give me a tumble. Gosh, don't he even remember the happy times I've spent together? I've got to make the boss realize how cruel he's being. Yeah, that's it.
Flight path for... Huh? And then...
Oh no, I can't stand anymore. This is too much. This must be kinda getting him.
I don't deserve this. My evening paper.
Doggone it, I'm just misunderstood. And always right where it hurts the most.
Poof! Hey, pal! I've been watching you, kid, but you're way off the beam. If you want to play the old sympathy angle, you gotta thing, chum, thing.
But how does that...
When you give out with the old tearjerker ballads, kid, they'll give you the shirts off their backs.
Gee, that's gotta be the thing to do, then.
I'll, help.
I'm only a bird without a gilded cage.
Meow.
Quiet. Give you the shirts off their backs, he says.
For tonight is a Thew night. These are all the little tokens I have received. This was for a little ditty I done in Denty's Alley.
Gosh.
Of course, there was a brick in it.
Say, maybe with these I can make the boss glad he's just got a talking parrot and not something worse. Buzz, you can't actually talk to humans like I can because you're just a cat. But if we work together, buzz.
Knock.
Huh, who on earth can be calling at this hour? Good evening, friend. I understand you have an opening for a nice new house pet. But. Ah, yes. Everybody should have a pet to give him love and conversation. Thanks, I will stay a while. Ha, you humans got a crazy idea that only parrots can talk your language. But parrots, phooey, take a talking cat every time. You sound like a parrot I used to have. Tut, just imitating. Wanna hear me sound like a 5-alarm fire? Wee, split, split, clang, clang, fire, clang, clang. Up with the ladders, boys. Women and children and us cats first. Water on the blaze, boys. Whee! This must be a bad dream. I'll wake up in a minute. Now I'll sing for ya. Oops. He does sound like Potsy, except for one thing. Oh-wee-oh-wee-oh-wee-oh. He's 11 times worse. Blah, blah, and now I shall recite 57 verses of Flossie the Female Fireman. Shut up! But, mister, us cats have to talk. We're not just naturally quiet and refined like, parrots. Yow! Oh, Potsy, you're back. Ooh, I'm glad. You'll be a relief after that cat. Go ahead, little pet, little pal, little friend, talk all you want. It'll be almost restful now. Gosh, talking cats. Maybe it's only the ones who wear overcoats that can do it. Or vice versa, or maybe... The end. Well, the end of that story at least. But now it's time for the text story. The Bear Facts by Cheryl Padraic. At the edge of the little stream that rippled its silvery way through leafy forest, there lived a group of bright, happy frogs. Happy except for one thing. A certain bear cub named Claude would frequently come to tease and annoy them, startling them out of their mossy beds, pelting them with pebbles, or stirring up the mud from the bed of the river. Whenever the frogs would get started on some good game, they were always certain to post a scout at the water's edge. All this sharp-eyed watcher had to do was shout, "Claude!" and the frogs would break up their game and scatter for cover. One day, a very bright frog named Fiddle announced to his friends, "See here, all. I'm getting fed up with Claude Cub and his shenanigans, and I propose that we take action." "Action, of course, action," murmured all the frogs. "A splendid idea, a fine thought, but what shall we do?" "I've thought of that," answered Fiddle. "The next time Claude comes to pester us, just follow my lead." The following afternoon, as the frogs were setting up some picnic equipment, a rustle swept through the nearby leaves. "It's Claude," whispered Fiddle. "Now watch." Ping! A pebble shot through the air, cracking one of the best picnic dishes. "Here I am," shouted Claude. "We're very happy to see you, dear cub," said Fiddle gravely. "We've been looking forward to your next visit." "Well, here I am," answered Claude. "I'm gonna dam up your old river." "Wouldn't you like to join us in a game?" asked Fiddle. "You can dam up the river later. We'd be so honored if you would." "Okay," agreed the stupid cub. "What'll it be?" "Why, the best game of all. Leapfrog. Your turn first." Now, Claude was so smug and conceited about his ability that he never bothered to notice the lineup of the frogs. Jump, jump, jump. Claude went hopping over the backs of the shining frogs. "This is a cinch," he shouted. Jump, jump, kersplash! Into the river went Claude Cub, springing high over the back of the last frog in the line. "Help, Glug, help!" he screamed. I can't swim." "We will fish you out on one condition," said Fiddle. "You must never come to annoy us again. Promise?" "I won't promise," gasped the cub. "Fish me out and you'll never see me again." And they never did.
Wow, those were both really good, Vappy. You know, one of the things I'm really enjoying about Giggle Comics so far is it actually feels like a cartoon.
You mean like this comic could literally be the storyboard for an animated cartoon?
Exactly.
It does kind of feel like that. And the text story in this was actually pretty good as well, which is a rare occurrence.
Yeah.
And VAPsketeers, look forward to the next episode, where we'll be reading another story from this comic, because
the best way to keep these comics alive isn't through reviews or recaps, it's through actually reading them.
That's right, Maureen. And now, for our final puppet number of the episode, the little minstrel puppet will mime to Smoke, Smoke, Smoke That Cigarette, as recorded by Phil Harris.
Take it away, little minstrel puppet.
Now I'm a fellow with a heart of gold and the ways of a gentleman. I've been told the kind of a guy that wouldn't even harm a flea. But if me and a certain character met that guy that invented the cigarette, I'd murder that son of a gun in the first degree. Now, not 'cause I don't smoke myself, and I don't reckon they'll harm your health. I've smoked all my life and ain't dead yet. But nicotine slaves are all the same. At a petting party or a poker game, everything must stop while they smoke that cigarette. Smoke, smoke, smoke that cigarette. Puff, 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 and if you smoke yourself to death, tell St. Peter at the Golden Gate that you hate to make him wait, but you've just got to have another cigarette. Smoke, smoke, smoke. Puff, puff, puff. In a game of chance the other night, old Dame Fortune was doing me right. The kings and queens just kept on coming round. Coming around. I played him hard and I played him high, but my bluff didn't work on a certain guy. He kept on raising and laying that money down. Laying it down. He'd raise me and I'd raise him. I sweated blood, got a sink or swim. He finally called and didn't raise the bet. I said, ace is full, pal, how about you? He said, I'll tell you in a minute or two. Right now I've got to have a cigarette. He's got to smoke, smoke, smoke that cigarette. Puff, 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 and if you smoke yourself to death, tell St. Peter at the Golden Gate that you hate to make him wait, but you've just got to have another cigarette. Smoke, smoke, smoke. Puff, puff, puff. The other night I had a date with the cutest little gal in 48 states, a hybrid uptown fancy little dame. She said she loved me and it seemed to me that things were about like they ought to be, so hand in hand we strolled down Lover's Lane. She was oh so far from a cake of ice, our smooching party was going nice, so healthy and I think I'd been there yet. I'd have been there yet. But I give her a kiss and a little squeeze and she said, Phil, excuse me please, but I've got to have another cigarette. Another cigarette. Smoke, smoke, smoke that cigarette. Puff, 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 and if you smoke yourself to death, tell St. Peter at the Golden Gate that you hate to make him wait, but you've just got to have another cigarette. Smoke, smoke, smoke. Oh, St. Peter, I sure hate to keep you holding that gate open, but I just got to have another drag over this cigarette. This pretty thing. Thank you, Peter. Thank you.
Well, VAPsketeers, it's been fun, but I think that's about all the time we have for today.
Any words of wisdom before we go, Vappy?
Well, I know we've all been talking about this a lot lately, but I want to reiterate. Don't live in fear of your enemies. Your fear is what gives them power over you. It's like what Tomoko was saying in the last episode.
You all saw that one, didn't you guys?
I'm sure they did, Buko. But it's like Tomoko sort of said in the last episode, the normies are like the witch doctors. They don't actually have any power, but they tell you that they do, and they tell you certain words are supposed to make you feel pain. For the witch doctors, at least the ones you see in cartoons, those words would be mumbo jumbo, abracadabra, hocus pocus. For the normie, these words would be unhinged, degenerate, insufferable, gooner, and all the rest. Have any of you ever been held back from doing something just because you were afraid a normie would use one of their stupid magic words on you? Well, don't be afraid, because they're just words. Just stupid letters strung together by stupid people. Don't live in fear. Live to piss the normies off and laugh in their faces as their stupid little magic words have no effect on you.
Good advice, Vappy.
Thanks, Nobuko. And now we've gotta go, but of course, VAPsketeers, I and the waifus and all the puppets and monsters and weird people will be back next episode.
We'll see you then.